Good morning, mate.
Good morning, man.
How are
How
you?
are you?
Hey, good.
Good.
You've just gotten into Australia, right?
Last night.
Oh man, I'm sorry about the mo early morning if you've had a big night with the flying and stuff. But
Oh, I got to sleep at like 10,
oh man.
10
Well,
a.m.
oh man, I appreciate that. Hey, but
Yeah, no problem. Where are you?
I'm on the Gold Coast.
Oh,
So,
I've been there.
yeah, didn't you? You made a movie here a long time ago, didn't you?
A movie there called The Marine.
Yeah. When was
Yeah,
that?
I don't know.
Because I've got a funny story with that. Is a mate of mine, you were on the
Uh,
Gold Coast, and I think you went into a
uh,
HMV and he was working in there, and he couldn't believe that you were in there, and he
what's
called
an
me over.
HMV?
It was well, it used to be a music store
Oh,
back in
oh,
the
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool, man. Yeah, that was John Cena. That was his first movie,
Yeah.
and it was a WWE produced film. And we shot on the Gold Coast. And the director of photography was the director of photography from the movie Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Oh wow, man. Yeah, that would have
Yeah.
been yeah, that would have been cool. My name's Nev anyway. Sorry, I didn't introduce
Hi,
myself.
Nev. Yeah,
It's nice to see you. Oh man.
nice to see you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're
Wow,
actually
what a colorful room you have there.
this is my studio at home. Yeah. So it's got all the, I'm one of those, you know, that
Yeah,
collects
I
action.
have a home studio. I have a home studio.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
like this, like for music or for doing voice stuff or
for voice stuff.
voice stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. That's awesome. Is it as filled with stuff and trash like as much as this is?
It has a lot. Yeah, actually, it
Yeah.
was formerly my son's bedroom, so I have a lot of that stuff. A lot of stuff. My son collected oh God, all sorts of Assassin's Creed and Star Wars, and he got Star Wars from his uncle Richie.
Yes.
All yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, of course, you're going to be coming down. Well, you are down here for Supernova this weekend and next weekend.
yeah. I'm looking at my schedule.
Full on.
It's pretty filled up. Where is my itinerary? Yeah, Saturday, Sydney, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. Really grateful to be down here. Grateful to be working with Dan Deltz and the Supernova people, and lots of stuff. Meet and greets and dinners and all sorts of stuff. It's
Screenings
going
and
to be
stuff too.
cool.
You're doing screenings as well. Is that right?
Uh, I believe so. I'm trying to figure out where I can find my schedule. I have. We just screened it in uh, New Zealand at the Roxy Theater, which is owned by um, Sir Richard Taylor of Wetaworks
Oh,
and
wow.
wife. Yeah, and we screened it there, and we had two sold out screenings of Terminator 2 there. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, man. And I bet there was heaps of people coming up, getting you to sign heaps of stuff and, you know.
Well, it was all organized. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
all
yeah, yeah.
organized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
we
course.
did a signing beforehand, and we did a Q&A before, and then they screened the movie.
Oh, I wish I could have been there, mate. I would have done anything to be there.
Yeah.
So I was coming down this weekend, but I almost did the drive. I almost got in the car and did the drive to see you. But I'm stoked to actually be just talking to you. I mean, I've spoken to you. I do music stuff. I do this stuff, but I've spoken to your brother a bunch of times. I'm a big
Yeah, how's he doing?
good man. I saw him a couple of months ago in Brisbane. I interviewed him in person, and
Uh-huh.
he's a good dude, man. I like him. I'm
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I'm a big Filter fan and
Yeah,
big fan
he's
of
good.
yours.
Easy listening. Easy listening. The kind of music you want to have on during a dinner party.
That's right. That's right. Well, it depends on the kind of dinner party, right? So,
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But of course, I mean, doing these cons, you probably get to catch up with a lot of other people you've worked with throughout the years. You know, do you have a con buddy? Do you have someone that you try and meet up with at every con?
Oh, I used to. They're all dying though.
Oh,
That's the sad part. My buddy Carl Weathers just passed away.
yeah.
Scott Wilson passed away. Those are my con buddies. My buddy Lance Hendrickson. I used to do a lot of cons with him. He's still alive, thankfully, and we used to do a lot of cons together. But he's slowing those down a little bit. So yeah, I'll have to make a new con buddy.
I could be your con buddy. I'll come down.
Hey,
Yeah. No, I'm not.
hey.
I'm not famous enough. But of course, I've been a big fan of yours since I was very little. 10 to
Were
be.
you alive when we made T2?
Yes, I'm actually older than what you think I am. I was
I
10,
don't.
I was 10 when it came out, and I
Right.
went to the drive-in. You probably hear stories like this all the time. And I remember I went and sat on the monkey bars, the monkey bars there, and I sat there and watched it on the big screen, man. And just that was my introduction to you, of course, seeing you just cut through the scenes and just it was terrifying but cool at the same time. And I was like, man, I just love this guy's work, and you've had that impact on many, many people throughout the years. How is it meeting fans like myself, I guess, who tell you those
Oh,
stories?
it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing to meet people and they recount when they first saw the film. And they tell me stories about, how their dad took them to see it. And it was the first R-rated movie they saw. And a lot of the fans now tell me about seeing it for the first time on VHS or DVD. They've only seen it on the small screen. They haven't seen it on the big screen. It's really a neat experience to think that you've done something that the whole world recognizes as great art, and it's a real privilege to be a part of it.
Well, it did as I said, made a very big impact on me. I still have this. You probably signed heaps of these. This is, well, a little
Oh yeah,
you.
heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've come a long way.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah. I've had him
they've got.
since I
Have
was.
you seen the new stuff from Pure Arts?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's really really neat. Yeah,
Man.
there's lots of stuff. I have all that kind of stuff at my Harley Davidson dealership in Santa Clarita, California. Have a lot of merchandise from the film there.
To sell or just your own collection?
Just my own collection, just for people to see.
Yeah, oh man. It must be mind-blowing seeing obviously back in the day when they made stuff like this, the likeness and the likenesses they have now. It must be incredible.
Yeah, it really is incredible. The especially the Pure Arts guys have done an amazing job. I've never seen anything better than that. That's those life busts they've done have just been incredible. And there's some neat things. I got to sign Sir Richard Taylor's vinyl from the
Wow.
1990s, 1991, the one that he personally painted himself and made. He's the head of Wetaworks.
Yeah.
It's quite an honor to see how that film has impacted other filmmakers and inspired them to careers in the industry.
And tattoos too. You probably see a lot of tattoos. People coming through with you on there.
Yeah, a lot of tattoos, a lot of tattoos. Yeah,
Man.
yeah. P1000 is pretty popular tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. I need to get one. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
you should.
get one.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be cool. But of course, I mean, even though T1000 is so iconic, you played so many great diverse roles throughout the years, and and some of the best films, like Fire in the Sky is one of my favorite ones. I guess I don't know if you hear that a lot. But
Yeah, no, I do. A lot of people like that film. Yeah, that was a really cool film. I really was grateful I got the opportunity to do that. And I remember when I auditioned for that, Robert Lieberman, the director, he couldn't even believe I was the same guy from T2, which was what I was going for. Because it was, T2 it made such an indelible impression on everybody. It was really hard to kind of duck and swerve and find something else to do to get people to see you in a different light. That was the first studio film I did post T2 that, and it had an impact. I gained a lot of weight. I grew my hair long, grew a beard, and showed people a whole different side. So
absolutely. You've done a lot of diverse roles, and there's stuff that I think that you've, like Auggie from Peacemaker.
yeah, Peacemaker's fun.
Man, but that kind of role takes guts, man, to do. There's, obviously.
Well, everybody knows it's just entertainment. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a literal drama. It's just a very fun comedy, and you have to go in with that, tongue in cheek. That okay, I'm playing the bad guy, and he's just an awful human being. So it's it's fun for me. The different people that come up and react to it are the people that Auggie personally really can't stand the character. And a lot of those are the people that come up to me and say, I just love the show. And I'm really refreshed by that they didn't take it personally. They're not afraid to talk to me. So, because he's just an awful human being.
Yeah. But do you find that some of those roles, the serious ones that you've taken, are like, do they stick to you? They stick with you? No, you'd let them go?
No. Yeah, you let them go. I've had opportunities to do a lot of movies that were very serious in nature, and the one of them in American History X, I was offered that role that Stacy Keach played, where I was the head of the white supremacy, and when they offered it to me, I said, I turned it down because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go dark, because I was having my first baby, my first kid. And I didn't want to be in a dark place when I was going to be in the happiest. And personally, I was going to be as happy as I've ever been having a child. And so I turned that role down. So, I mean, I turned down things that I find morally reprehensible and offensive to me personally.
Yes.
It ranges from overtly sort of hatred towards Christianity or anything like that. I don't like Christianity being mocked. I'm against that, and so I try not to get involved with anything like that. There's many different roles that I've been offered that I've played, because I find them morally reprehensible, and I don't want to participate in bringing that to life. And it's funny how some things are not offensive to me and some things are. I don't like the mockery of Christianity, and I steer clear of that, but yet I'll play something like an Auggie Smith and just be, offensive to everybody else. So there's no real, it's basically the roles I take are the roles I take that I want to play. I don't take them for the fans. The fans don't even come into question. It's what does Robert Patrick want to do? And I pick and choose from what is offered to me, what's available to me. And that's how I chart my course as far as work and career wise. So there's I don't really have a plan, and I just do what I can, that I can make a living doing what I want to do and do the kind of roles that I want to do. But it's my decision, and I try to amuse myself. if that makes any sense whatsoever.
No, that does, because it's your art and what you're putting in. You've got to be happy.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
music. It's
And within that parameter, it is Nick, right?
Nev.
Yes, I want to say your name. Within that parameter, Nick, it's there's so many variables that are tangible parts of the business. Like, I want to make a living. What do I want to do? I've taken roles different times in my career. Scorpion that I did for CBS, the X-Files that I did for Fox. I was having children. I wanted a steady gig. So I looked to TV as the art form instead of film. I didn't want to be gone so much. I wanted to be closer to home. I wanted to raise my kids. There's many different things that an artist goes into. And as you take on responsibility as an adult, as a human, it's one thing to just take roles because you only have to worry about yourself, but it's another once you choose to get married. And it's another once you choose to have children. And what kind of life do you want to provide for them, and what kind of quality of life do you want to provide for them, and what is quality of life? Is it them living in the same home their whole life, or moving around and being a gypsy, or going to the same school and having the same friends, or being on the road with their dad all the time? So there's many different things, and every artist has to go through that.
Yes.
Even my brother, the rock and roller, like,
Absolutely.
Does he want to take kids on the road? No, he doesn't. He wants his kids raised in his house, going through a good school system, providing the best he can for his children. And, that's what we do in this medium. I find it very interesting what's going on in this medium right now, because there's so many changes and there's so many effects being caused by outside instances of COVID, of the actors' strike, the writers' strike, the business and how the medium and different venues and ways that things are seen. People watch things on their iPad now. People watch things on their phone. You can watch something on your watch if you want to.
Yeah.
And the movie business is that all those things, that there's a cause and effect. So what products are being made? And it's really interesting. I've been doing it for 40 years. And originally when I got started with Roger Corman, we were making movies, exploitation movies, to sort of fill the catalogs of VHS. And that's gone, And as I tapped on earlier, a lot of people saw T2 as on a VHS. So things are changing. It's interesting. I'm trying to figure out how to stay relative in the current now with what's out there, what's going to be next. I have 2 big gigs to go to when I get back, and those are streaming services.
Oh well. Okay.
Yeah, and the last 4 gigs I had that were really noteworthy were Peacemaker, 1923, The Night Agent on Netflix, and Reacher on Amazon. That's my last 4 gigs. I've done a couple little independent movies, but they're not out yet. But so now it's like, that's all there is. There's streaming service, right?
Yeah, I miss going to a video store. There was something about that, man.
Yeah, I miss going to a theater.
Yeah,
and it's one of the things I'm really I try to push myself to get out and go to movies and see them in the theater, and even I have a hard time doing that, because it's just, I live up in the Hollywood Hills. I got to go all the way down from Mall. I got to go deal with a crowd. I got to go and they do this, So it's it really has to be something I want to see to get me to get out of my house and go see it, or I can screen it on my big screen TVs I have at home. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So the audience is it's what I love about doing these conventions, is I get to go out and be with the audience and be with the people and connect with them and hear their stories and let them get to know me, and hopefully I fulfill whatever expectation they have of me, or whatever. When they meet me in person, I'm not a disappointment, all that kind of stuff. So this is a nice way to do brand development, I guess, with your fans or whatnot. So
Yeah, I love it. You know, I love going.
I'm a pretty gregarious guy, and I'm outgoing by nature, and I do like to communicate with people, and I try to live up to their expectations, whatever they be. At least be a nice guy when I meet them, you know.
Oh man.
So I'm inviting everybody down.
Yeah.
I'm not Augie Smith.
No,
I'm Robert
no,
Patrick.
yeah, you're Robert Patrick. Yeah.
I'm far from being Augie Smith.
I love the video you put up the other day where it was like your childhood home. I think it was you pulled up in front of you with a bike and you were like, "This is where."
Oh, that was
You
like
know,
4 weeks ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
That
sometimes.
was like 4 weeks ago. I was riding across America. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was riding across America, and when I do that, so I rode to Washington D.C. and then I rode up to Cleveland to see my mama, and then I rode over with my sister. I rode my sister on my bike over to our old house, and the lady saw me out there. Megan, her name was, and she saw me riding by. And she said, "You used to live here?" And I said, "Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I lived here right after I got out of high school. My brothers and sisters all lived here, and my brother wrote the song "Hey Man, Nice Shot" in the basement, and she let us take a tour, which was really sweet.
Was it the same? Would it have the same sort of stuff, or had it changed much?
It had the basement where I lived. I lived down in the basement because when I moved there, I was supposed to. My family moved there my senior year of high school, and I boarded with a family and finished high school up in Detroit, Michigan, is where we lived. And they moved down to that house in Cleveland my senior year. So I stayed up there in Detroit. And so I went away to 1 year of college and didn't do very well. And I came home to my parents and they said, "We don't have a room for you." So we built a room down in the basement. And I lived down there until I kind of figured out what the hell I was going to do. And eventually I moved out. And but it was down there that Richard wrote "Hey Man, Nice Shot."
Mate.
Crazy.
Oh, it is
Crazy.
crazy. And
Yeah.
I love seeing those old photos of you with your like your 9 Inch Nails pin. And you used to go see him play. You used to like hang out and stuff.
Yeah. Well, what happened
Wild days.
was Richie started playing music and writing his own music at a very young age.
Yeah.
Um, and I think if I got the story correct, Richie can correct me. Trent Reznor saw him playing in a bar in Cleveland, and he was playing his own original music. He had his own band, and he was underage. He wasn't even supposed to be in there. I don't think wasn't of age to drink. So for him to even be playing in there was breaking the law. But Trent was pretty enamored with the stage presence that Richie had, and his guitar virtuoso, and Trent asked Richie to join 9 Inch Nails and play something on the first record, which was I think it was called "Pretty Hate Machine." And then Richie did the subsequent tour with Trent, and they were road buddies together with the original band. And Richie was like 16, 17, 18, 19 during the tour with 9 Inch Nails. So he was a very young man, very formative years of his life. And they were doing that. And I ended up getting Terminator 2 during that time. And I used to go see them all the time when they would come to Los Angeles, because I had moved to Los Angeles. And I saw them I can't remember where I saw them, Universal Amphitheater or something. They were starting to get really big. And I couldn't tell anybody about Terminator 2.
Oh, it was under wraps.
Because it was a secret. Well, yeah. You don't recall, but the early advertisement, they didn't even reveal me in the initial trailers, because Arnold was the good guy.
Yeah.
And I was the new Terminator. So I was the bad guy. And they didn't reveal that in the trailers. They just said, "This time there's two." And they didn't really reveal all this, liquid metal aspects of the CGI and all that. They waited for you to go to the theater to see it and blew your mind, you know. So yeah, I was supporting them and you know, a big promoter of Nine Inch Nails to whoever wanted to listen, and you know, at the time, and one of those people was James Cameron.
Wow.
And I said, you know, for all the training that I've been doing for the T1000, I've been listening to a lot of industrial music. I've been listening to Skinny Puppy and Ministry and Nine Inch Nails. And, you know, I learned about all this music from my brother, Richard Patrick, who happens to be the lead guitarist for Nine Inch Nails. And they're on tour and they're a great band. And they got this album out called Pretty Hate Machine. And they got a great song called Head Like a Hole. And I think it would be wonderful for the movie. And if I remember correctly, James said, "Oh, we've already got Guns N' Roses, and Arnold is a big fan of Guns N' Roses. We've figured it into the movie, and it's a crucial part, so we don't need it."
There you go.
So the interesting thing is Trent Reznor's gone on to have multiple Oscar wins for soundtracks. I can't say that I've heard the same for Guns N' Roses. No disrespect meant to Guns N' Roses because they're a great band, but that's kind of interesting.
I find it interesting too, like because that early Nine Inch Nails stuff goes hard, and here he's writing stuff. You know, this stuff in Pixar movies.
And you know, funny enough, by the time T2 came out and the movie came out, and then I got some notoriety, and so we're all kind of getting notoriety all at the same time. You know, Nine Inch Nails was getting really hot and famous. And then Terminator 2 comes out, and I'm getting attention for that. And I remember Trent Reznor and my brother Richard and their then manager John Mumm came over to my apartment that my wife and I were living at the time at the Hollywood Tower on Franklin and Argyle. And anyway, they came in and they said, "We're looking for the house that we're going to move into. We're going to move into a house out here and record this second album." And Trent had the book Helter Skelter, and he sort of flopped it down. He said, "This is where we're moving into." And I went, "You're moving into the Sharon Tate, Roman Polanski death house?" And well, Roman Polanski didn't get killed, but Sharon Tate did. You know, the Charlie Manson.
Yes.
And he's and I went over there after they moved in, and he had the 24 track machine set up in the living room where the actual incident took place. It was I was creeped out. My brother got creeped out by it and eventually moved out and quit the band.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, there's something about that album, Downward Spiral. I reckon it. Look, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I reckon it's absorbed definitely stuff from that whole scene, that whole house, man. It's heavy, man.
I heard the song that Richard and I recorded together.
No, what was it? Which one?
It's a song, you can find it on Apple Music. It's a song that Richard wrote as a needle drop for a movie that I co-produced, and we hired Richie to do the score. And Richard did the score, and he wrote this song called "Oh Lord," and he had me sing it. And we got the producer from Bob. We got the producer from Leonard Skinner, produced it. And anyway, so I recorded it with me singing the lead vocals.
Yeah.
In the movie, it's Richard singing the lead vocals, but on the soundtrack, we did a special release with me singing the lead
I need
vocals.
to find this. I need to track this.
Yeah, it's easy. It's on Apple Music.
Yeah.
The movie is called Last Rampage.
Okay.
So the movie title has two words, Last Rampage.
Yep.
And it's the original motion picture soundtrack. And yeah.
That's unreal. I'll have to, man, I will definitely be looking that up. Because as I said, I'm a big fan of yours, big fan of your brothers. You know, you Patricks are a talented bunch. That's for sure.
Yeah, we got lucky, both of us. We did. And there's more Patricks coming. There's my daughter, Austin Patrick, is an actress, and my son, Samuel Patrick, is an actor. So there's more of us coming.
Unreal.
And Richie's got some great children as well that I think may or may not get in the business. I don't know.
Mate, it's in the blood. It's in the blood, that's for sure. But mate, of course it's been.
So are you gonna come meet me in person, or are you just gonna hide there in your little podcast chair?
Well, I'm like 8 hours away. So I was gonna do the drive. I almost did, and it's a long drive, but I just
I can tell.
But
the 8-hour drive's too much for you.
Oh man, I've got kids and work and stuff. But I feel very lucky that I've had the opportunity to sit down with you and have a chat with you.
Okay, how many kids you got?
I got three and a granddaughter. And a granddaughter.
Wow, and a granddaughter.
I am an older dude. Yeah. So I look younger than what I am. So thank you. Yeah. But mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Zoom's going to kick us off in a sec because it gives us a time.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say thank you.
Come see me at Supanova.
But hey, I'll be there. I'll be there in spirit. That's for sure.
All right.
Robert, thank you so much for hanging out.
You betcha, buddy.
Yeah, it means the world to me. And God bless you, mate. Thank you.
God bless you.
Take care.